Let's try this again. Hi everyone. So I have not been having any luck at all today with filming or uploading content. This is my second time filming this video. I literally just filmed it and then my camera died when I was over halfway through, so I'm restarting it. But I'm gonna make it a lot quicker than the first time when I was rambling a whole bunch because I don't want to sit here and film that long. So I guess I'll just start off by saying hello, hi, I'm still alive. I didn't post for a month and a half, 2 months, and that was just because I was going through some things and some life changes, and some were good, some were not so good, which is kind of what I wanted to touch on in this video. Now, I did just get back from Florida a couple weeks ago with my mom, because I went there with my mom, and we were there for a week together, and it was an amazing, relaxing trip, and I vlogged the whole thing. Now, I was trying to edit that video earlier, and I just wasn't having luck with, so I got a new laptop, and pretty much, I don't know if something's different, but I'm just trying to use the same software that I was using before to edit my videos. It just wasn't working quite right, so I just deleted the footage and I'm gonna start over. But I thought I'd make this video first to kind of test it out because this will be a shorter video than that vlog. So I could just sort of like test the waters on it and see like how it's working and whatnot. One second, I'm very hot. I'm gonna crack the window. Okay, you might hear a bit of outside noise, but don't mind that. So yeah, so this video will be posted before the Florida vlog, but the Florida vlog was footage from about 2 to 3 weeks ago. So that is past footage, this is current footage. So just to kind of clarify that. I'm filming in my washroom right now because it's almost 6 o'clock at night. It's very dark and this is the only good lighting in my house. So yes, we are in my washroom. And I'm sitting on a chair that I brought up here. So, in front of my shower. Woo! So anyways, I just basically want to say my mom and I went to Florida. It was a great trip. We got some tattoos. We got matching finger tattoos that say pinky, or they're on our pinkies and they say promise. Now, it's been about 3 weeks since we got them, and obviously, like, they're not healing great. They're not sticking as well as, you know, I had hoped, but then again, I didn't really have high hopes because I know about finger tattoos and how they don't heal well. So I'm waiting until about mid-January when I go to get another hand tattoo on this hand, and I'm just going to get them to touch up the pinky promise, and my mom's going to come with me and also get hers touched up because hers is also looking a little ratchet too. So I'll just show you that quickly just so you can see. So it's not perfectly focusing, but pretty much the P, R, and O are pretty faded, and then the M-I-S-E looks great. So I need to get the P and R and O touched up. And then I also got a hand tattoo on my hand. My mom did not get this tattoo as well though. It's just was me that got it. Okay, there we go. So it's just a little elephant with 3 red hearts coming out of his trunk, and I named him Aldo, so Aldo the elephant. So I'm gonna get another hand tattoo on this hand, and when I get that done, pinky promise will be touched up, will look a lot better, and I will try not to wash my hands as much as I do. Because don't get me wrong, like, yes, wash your hands after you use the toilet and, you know, touch gross things, but like, I wash my hands an obsessive amount, so yeah, like my mom's even looks better than mine. Like, I knew mine was gonna look a little ratchet, so anywho, so yeah, pretty much the update that I just wanted to give was just that, you know, some things have changed, or not, well, one big thing has changed in my life over the past month and a half, and that is that I have a boyfriend now. Woo! Girl goes wild! And I mentioned him in the Florida vlog, but obviously you won't be seeing that till after this video, so I just thought I would touch on that in this video. But his name is Cameron, or Cam for short. He is such a sweetheart. I absolutely adore him. It's just, you know, being with him is like a breath of fresh air. Like, I feel like for a lot of women, and I'm not just saying women, like I know men have issues with dating girls. Like, there's some really nice guys out there that end up with the wrong girls and stuff. So I'm not saying it's just, you know, a female issue with men. I know it goes both ways, but just for me personally, like, I've dated a lot of guys who just, you know, they'll put effort into the relationship for the first week, and then once they've like got you, or a couple weeks, you know, they've got you wrapped around their finger, they just stop putting effort in. And I think, like, you know, I mean, relationships will never last if you don't put equal effort in forever. Like, you can't just put it in for a week and then expect to, you know, have it just work out on its own. Like, no, you have to put the effort in. So I've just been in relationships like that before, and also just like just really bad ones. I mean, a lot of the guys that I dated were good guys, and, you know, I wish them nothing but the best, and they were sweethearts, and we just weren't a good match for each other. But, you know, I also have dated one person in particular who was just absolutely horrible to me and for me, and, you know, I deserve a lot better than that, and I finally know that after all these years. So it's just such a breath of fresh air to be with someone who just like fully loves me for me and appreciates me and gets me and laughs at all my jokes and I laugh at all his jokes, and just like, you know, embraces my weirdness. And I just love that. Like, he's amazing, okay? And we're actually gonna do a Christmas themed video together on this channel, so stay tuned for that. It's gonna be really fun. I'm not going to spoil it, but it is going to be a really good video, so stay tuned. And then, you know, you guys will just get to know him along the way. But for now, that's all I'm going to say about him. And the other thing that I wanted to touch on, and again, I know I say this in a lot of videos, but I will be making more videos talking about this more in depth, you know, kind of dissecting little things, just because I do want my channel, you know, I have different purposes for my channel. I want my channel to be somewhere where you guys can come to laugh with me or cry with me, or, you know, just do the fun things, and then also do the day-to-day life that's not so fun. But one thing that is really big in my life, and that I have dealt with for a long time, is mental health. And I know, you know, it's such a controversial topic. So many people don't understand it, and then there's also so many people who struggle with it and don't talk about it because they're ashamed, because, you know, it's not something that you can see. It's not something that somebody else can just look at and say, like, I can see that you're, you know, I can see that you have a broken leg and that you must really be struggling with that, or I can see that you have this or that. It's something that, you know, nobody sees except for you, and you can't even see it. You just deal with it. So it is something that's really hard, and I've battled with it since, like, I truly do think, like, I've had OCD my whole life, but I wasn't diagnosed until I was in high school, and I was diagnosed with, you know, OCD, anxiety, depression, you name it, I got it. So, you know, it wasn't easy, especially being, you know, growing up where it's not talked about and it's just not a thing. Like, you know, Bell Let's Talk Day didn't start until, I mean, I don't even know, I can't even remember how many years ago. But even that, you know, it's like, I get that people, you know, they take a day to talk about it and whatever, but I just think, like, it can't just be talked about one day of the year. It has to be talked about every single day, and people have to be able to feel comfortable enough to talk about it to other people or to go to a counselor. And honestly, like, my biggest help and my biggest recommendation is to see a counselor, because, you know, I mean, I just personally think everybody should see a counselor. I think everybody should have somebody to talk to that has an unbiased, you know, unfiltered opinion, and just a shoulder to lean on every week or every other week or once a month. Like, I think it's personally worth the money, and it's an investment towards yourself, truthfully. But that being said, I have seen probably, like, you know, anywhere between 4 to 8 different counselors, psychiatrists, psychologists, since I was like 15. And I also, you know, I think they were all good in their own way, but I don't fully believe that you will change until A, you're ready to fully take on that battle of changing and conquering your mental health and your disorders, and also B, until you find a counselor that you click with. And, you know, it's much like finding friends that you click with and mesh with, or a boyfriend or a girlfriend or whatever. You do need to click with your counselor. If you aren't comfortable every single week going in there and literally just like laying it all out on the table, then you're just wasting your money, and you're not doing yourself any justice. It doesn't matter how many degrees they have in their field. If you don't click with them, if you don't mesh and bond, that will never happen. And that's why, like, I was never getting better, because I never bonded with anyone that I was seeing until the counselor I'm seeing now. I've been seeing her for over a year, and I mean, she's doing wonders for me. I still struggle every day, but she has made a world of a difference already, and I can't wait to see what the future has for both of us. But anyways, so when I was first diagnosed with OCD, I remember my one doctor at the time telling me that people who have OCD, or at least a certain type of OCD, especially women, can very easily have the OCD kind of change and spiral into an eating disorder. And I just remember her telling me that and thinking, there's no way, like there's no way I would ever have an eating disorder. Like I've always just kind of been okay with my body and with food, and I've never even thought about calories. Like I remember the first time hearing about calories when I was young and just thinking like, what even is that word? Like what is that bizarre word? Why do people talk about it so much? And I don't think it used to be talked about as much as it was now, like when I was first growing up. But pretty much my doctor's point was that, you know, with OCD you obsess about things. So it's easy to start looking in the mirror and obsessing about your body and obsessing about changes and, you know, little changes, or starting to obsess about numbers and calories and stuff like that. And I just remember thinking like, that would literally never happen to me. How could that possibly happen? I'm invincible. I'm strong. Like I got this. Well, I did not got this, okay? When I was 19, I had just turned 19, and that was also when I started into a really unhealthy relationship that kind of went on and off for the next 2.5 years. So it was just kind of like a weird time for me, and that was when I noticed that I really started to obsess about what I ate and how often I went to the gym and how long I would go to the gym. And also the guy that I had started dating was a huge gym fanatic, and so I got into the gym with him, and then it just slowly spiraled, and I never felt good enough, and I never felt like I could keep up with him and whatever. And again, not blaming him for my issues. I think everything in your life does play a role into the way you kind of turn out throughout different stages of your life. But I just believe that it was because of my OCD, and you know, I didn't think it would happen to me, but it did. And so yeah, I would just, you know, I started cutting my meals in half, cutting portions in half, you know, I went from sizing down, you know, to half the amount to a third of the amount, to just eliminating foods. And that went on for the next year until eventually, like, I mean, again, I don't really know, because at that point, like, I didn't even really count calories. I just knew that I was consuming less than 500 calories a day. There's no way I was consuming more than that. And I don't know how much I weigh now, but whatever I weigh now, I definitely weighed probably about 50 pounds less then. So, you know, I don't love my body now, but because I still struggle, I'm not over my eating disorder. I haven't come out on the other side yet, and I don't really know if you ever fully do. You know, I know you can get better and be in a much better place, but I think once you've had an issue with food, it's really hard to fully recover from that. Now, then again, I'm still just speaking from someone who is not recovered, so I don't know. Maybe you do fully recover, and maybe you never think about food in an obsessive way again, but you know, from what I've seen on YouTube and other people's videos and perspectives, I do think that there's always going to be a bit of an issue there. And I mean, I'm okay with that as long as I'm in a better place than I am now. So yes, but pretty much I was battling with anorexia for about a year, and I was almost under 100 pounds. And I honestly think if I would have kept going the way I was going for another month or two, I probably would have been hospitalized, because I was dropping weight like that. And eventually one day my mom just said, she's like, Alexa, if you don't change, you will die. And that was terrifying for me, because I never really thought of it that way. You know, I would wake up every day and go and take a shower, and there would be chunks of hair falling out of my head. And, you know, I thought that was weird, but I didn't think it was that weird. I just thought maybe I'm just going through a phase or whatever. I lost my period for 6 months. And only got it back because I went on birth control, which was recommended to me to go back to kind of like almost like shock your period to coming back. But I did lose my period from lack of, you know, from malnutrition. And, you know, I was cold all the time. My skin was always freezing. I always had goosebumps. I couldn't sleep on my back because my spine was so sensitive. It was just, you know, it wasn't a good time for me. And the year after that, after my mom had kind of scared me into being like, dude, you really need to, she's like, I don't want to see you die. I don't want you to be hospitalized. And, you know, so that whole next year, I spent it gaining the weight back and, you know, really kind of focusing on strength training in the gym. So I stopped doing all the cardio that I was doing before, and I started going to the gym less. So I still went to the gym a lot, but when I was like anorexic, I was going to the gym anywhere between 2 to 6 hours every single day. It was so unhealthy. Like, there was no reason for me to be in the gym that long. I just felt like I had to be. And also at this point in my life, I didn't really have a job. Like, I was so focused on my body and losing weight that I didn't really do much with my life. Like, I just pretty much obsessed about food from morning until night and spent my whole day in the gym. Like, that was literally just it. So it was a really dark time for me. And then, you know, after gaining all the weight back and stuff, I was over here thinking like, yeah, I'm cured, I don't have this issue anymore, this is great, like, I've gained the weight back. But then I spiraled that next year after gaining the weight back because I felt like I had gained the weight back and then some, and that really bothered me. And I just remember going out one night so I had gotten a job, and I was working there, you know, like part-time hours, and I became really close with the girls that I worked with. I actually worked with one of my cousins and then a bunch of other girls, and we all became really good friends. I'm still best friends with one of them to this day. But, you know, we would go out for dinner and drinks a lot. And so we went out to Kelsey's one night. It was either Kelsey's or Boston Pizza. Actually, I think it was Boston Pizza. Who knows? And I think we got like nachos and stuff like that. And I just remember going home afterwards and feeling like so guilty about everything that I had eaten and drank, that I just, out of nowhere, decided to purge. And for those of you who don't know what purging is, it's when you make yourself throw up. And long story longer, I have spent, since then until now, it's been 2.5 years since that started. So I've spent the past 2.5 years dealing with binging and purging, which is essentially known as bulimia. That is the name for it. And I would, you know, every day at one point I would eat a big meal and just like get in a bunch of food and then throw it all up. So I would literally spend like 2 hours in the bathroom purging. And it was like, I thought anorexia was a dark time. I thought starving myself was a dark time. But this was a dark time. Like, I remember being on the bathroom floor crying and just like begging, wishing that all I had to deal with was anorexia, which again is twisted in itself, but you know, it was just such a painful, agonizing process to purge. And it was obviously so lonely, and you know, like I missed out on so many things with friends. I wouldn't go into work because I'd be too late because I'd be in the bathroom purging. Like, it was just a really bad time for me. And you know, it's not easy to talk about. Like, it might, and people, I know some people in my life are going to watch this and be like, why did she post that? Why is she talking about that on the internet? And it's because I'm not ashamed of it. Even though I still struggle, I mean, don't get me wrong, I do not struggle nearly as bad as I was. Like, I still struggle with kind of restricting my calories here and there, or even counting them in the first place, or, you know, I struggle with the thought of like wanting to binge, but I honestly haven't done that in over a month, binging and purging, which is great for me. That's 1 month clean, if you will. And I'm hoping I never do it again, because it's a horrible thing. And for those people watching that are thinking, well, just don't do it, like, just don't do it. Well, you just don't get it, and that's the issue. And you know, and I don't, you know what, the people who don't get it, I don't want them to understand it, because if you understand it, it's probably because you've dealt with it, and that breaks my heart, because nobody should have to deal with that self-punishment and that feeling of self-worth, or that feeling of, you know, having no self-worth. Sorry, that's what I meant to say. But yeah, people might wonder why I'm posting this, and I'm posting this because what helped me recover from my different eating disorders, or I'm still recovering, but you know, that process, what has been helping me is watching people talk about it, and actually watching videos of people who have really been there, who have really dealt with it, talk about their issues, because it made me feel like, you know, even though you know you're not alone, because you're not the only one, because you can Google about it, and clearly if you can Google about something, you're not the only one who has dealt with it. But it's different. It's different when you watch someone through a video who's giving the raw emotion and who's truly talking about it, who's, you know, explaining their experiences and stuff. And I mean, I could go on and on about this forever. This video is already longer than 20 minutes. And, you know, that's not what I want it to be, but you know, basically me talking about this was, I was just wanting to give an update because that past month, when I had first met my boyfriend, just like, you know, a month and a half ago, I was like randomly just like dealing with struggling. I was binging and purging multiple times a week for about a week or two, and it was really unhealthy, and it was just, I was feeling like I was relapsing because, again, before that I hadn't done it for about a month or two. So it was just a rough time. I just felt like I just wanted to be alone, and I didn't want to film myself because I felt like I just was filming something that wasn't real. Like if I went and put a smile on for the camera and like filmed something, it wasn't genuine because I was dealing with that. And I think something that's been really hanging over my head is that I haven't talked about this on my channel yet, and I know I haven't made that many videos yet, and I know I don't have that many followers yet. But if I don't talk about it now, I'm just gonna keep putting it off. So I just felt like I needed to talk about it and just at least get the summary of what I've gone through off my chest. But I am going to do more in-depth videos on different things and just awareness about mental health and eating disorders, and I just don't want anyone to ever feel like they're alone, whether you're a man, a woman, whatever you are, a fucking unicorn, I don't care. I don't want you to feel alone, because you're not alone, because I've been there, I am there, I'm dealing with it. And that's also something that I wanted to document on this channel, was my progress, my personal progress and growth with battling eating disorders and mental health in general, and just coming out on the other side and being like, fuck you, mental health, I beat you. Or I'm in a place where I can manage you and you don't manage me. You know, I have power over you and you don't have that power anymore. So this video, I mean, again, like I said, I could go on, and I am going to make other more in-depth videos, and I hope that any of you watching this, whether I know you and you've just never brought this up to me, and you're watching this and you're like, damn, if, you know, if she can do it, I can do it. If she can talk about it, I can talk about it. And I mean, no, you don't have to go post a video to the world and talk about it, but if you're struggling, just know that if I can sit down and talk about it to whoever watches this, you can talk about it to your mom, your dad, your grandparents, your cousins, your boyfriend, wife, husband, whatever, a counselor. Get help, because it might not be, you know, a physical injury that people can see or a physical issue that people can understand, but it is real. Mental health is one of the biggest killers in the world, and one of the biggest issues that people just don't talk about enough. So I felt inspired from watching all of the different YouTubers that I have watched talk about it, and that has inspired me all throughout my teenage years, and I've always wanted to make a video talking about it, or to have a channel where I could, you know, have it as my outlet to be open about mental health and eating disorders and just life, like, in general, and also just like my weirdness. I wanted to just put 100% me into these videos, and so I've been upset the past month and a half dealing with ED, which is eating disorder, for those of you who don't know. If you deal with them, you know, people always label it as ED, but anyways. And I've been struggling because I haven't been filming, and that makes me sad because I like filming. So I'm really glad that I took the time today to sit down and film this video. Kind of started one way and then ended up another way, but that's just how life goes. That's just how my channel goes. But yeah, I really appreciate you guys watching this. I will put it in, or I have by now put it in the title, just so that people know, for trigger warnings and stuff, what it's going to be about. But yeah, as of now, my mental health is in an okay place. It's not the best it's ever been, and it's not the worst it's ever been. So for that, I can't complain too much. But I just want to film this process of growth together, me with you, whoever's watching, and just know that, you know, my channel is going to be a place where you can comment, you can message me, you can DM me on Instagram, comment here. This can be a community where we can all talk and feel safe and not feel judged. And there will be people who will judge us, who will judge me. And you just can't care. You really can't. You judge yourself enough in a day. Why should you let somebody else judge you? Like, no. You do that enough yourself. Don't let anybody else bring you down. So that's my advice for the day. Anyways, I'm gonna go now because I've been rambling for a while, and yeah, I don't want the camera to shut off on me again now that I filmed this all. So I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this video, give it a like, comment, subscribe, you know, give your input down below. Join the chat. We're just gonna freaking chat on this channel. And if you want to be a part of it, if you want to be a part of this community of tears and laughter and realness and mental health journeys and physical journeys and whatever else, then subscribe so that you never miss a video. Thanks, guys. Bye. Love you.